Berthold LB474 setup. Note, the LB474 does not have a run function as previous units had. The LB474 is basically in run at all times while it's powered. From the home screen, we'll begin by selecting the menu forward arrow in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. We will be referring to this as forward from here on. Device setup, identification, location, and at this point we can actually edit what we identify this system as by clicking edit, selecting whatever characters you would like for the designation, and then press enter. Now let's select the home icon in the upper left hand corner. Forward, device setup, access. Ensure that the access level is set to standard and that the automatic logout is deselected. Select the back button in the lower left hand corner. We will be referring to this as back from here on. Setup, system, date and time. Now we will ensure that the date and time are correct. If they are incorrect, simply select the drop-down menu and find your correct date. If the time is incorrect, simply select the field that is incorrect and make the adjustments. Press apply. And then back. Now select units. The first set of units you'll see are applying to your process variable. So you can make any of the adjustments you would like from the drop-down menus. Then select your units and ensure that you're using whichever type character or type unit that you would like for your application. Select the home in the upper left hand corner. If you're using an LB474 series detector, you should be seeing counts in the CPS or count rate box at this point. If you're not seeing counts and you do have an LB4700, contact Berthold service. If you're using an LB54 detector or previous models, press forward, device setup, setup, sensors, detector configuration. Then you'll notice the detector that your unit is seeing is highlighted in blue. If it's not, simply select it to highlight. Press the edit. I'm using the LB54 on this test subject, so we'll select that type and the OK. Now press the home button. And now we're seeing counts from our detector. Our system is now active and ready for calibration. LB474 1-point quick calibration. Note, this is intended for performing a calibration on an already operational gauge. If you have a new gauge that has not had the basic set of parameters entered, please do so first. You'll notice on the home screen of this display, on the right hand column, this blue label, if we click on it, is where any issues that your gauge has will be noted. you notice this one, the device is not calibrated. So we will begin by selecting the forward arrow in the lower right hand corner and in the main menu. Device setup, setup, calibration, calibration settings. Here we have all the settings for the calibration of your gauge. The background we would only read in if your source has not been installed yet and you're reading true background, whether it be from terrestrial or cosmic radiation. If your source is already installed, simply leave this field 0. The measuring path will be the inside diameter of the pipe that you're working with. So we'll click on this field and we're on 10-inch pipe. Ensure that your nuclide is the correct source for your application. The PV range. Now let's click on the Table tab. Notice that the table is empty. Select the plus to enter a new field. If your product is a known density such as water and not changing, simply enter the density. If the density does change of your product during the process, you'll want someone to be taking a sample at the exact time that you're reading in the counts on the gauge. Once they return with a value for that sample, you will enter it specifically into the process value. For our example, we're running water. So I'll click the Start to begin the read-in. The read-in is complete. We have our counts for our process value. Select OK, and you see it populated in the table. Select the back arrow and calibrate. We are setting the measurement set number 1. You can set different measurement sets if you have different products flowing through the same pipe, but you will have to trigger this from an outside source so the gauge knows exactly what product you have in the pipe at that moment. Since this is measurement set 1, we'll click Calibrate. Calibration was successful. Close. And the home. We now see that our count rate is very close to what our measurement point number 1 was, and our process variable is there as well. This completes the basic calibration.